My name is Sarah, and I'm 33. That carefree woman in the photo, beaming without a worry in the world, that was me just 3 years ago. Now I sit in this $800 a month apartment, trying to stitch together the shattered pieces of my life with words. I often read stories online about gambling, like the one about Mark, a top insurance executive from Chicago. Over 10 years, he went from the top of his game to losing $6 million, eventually ending up in prison. People marvel at the staggering numbers, but few can grasp how, behind those figures, every single cent, tied to trust, love, and hope, is ground to dust bit by bit. In early 2020, my husband David and I were excitedly preparing for our first child. We lived in a lovely house in the suburbs, not large, but filled with our love and our plans for the future. My father had helped us with the down payment. It was our first anchor in the world. David was a regional manager at a mid-sized logistics company, a steady job for a dependable man. He was a quintessential good American husband, loved football, mowed the lawn on weekends, and would clumsily whip up dinners that weren't exactly gourmet, but were always full of love. His only extravagant hobby was collecting old vinyl records. He scrimped and saved to give the best to me and our baby on the way. I can still picture the look on his face, a mixture of awe and pure ecstasy, as he pressed his ear to my swelling belly to feel the baby kick. "Sarah," he said, "we're complete." I was an administrative assistant in the city's planning department. The work was simple and didn't pay much, but it was stable. Our life was like a heartwarming family movie, ordinary but comfortable. Then, the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Overnight, the world turned upside down. David's company had layoffs, and he was one of the first to be furloughed. With our main source of income gone, panic spread through our little home like a virus. David, a man with an immense sense of responsibility, didn't wallow. The very next day, he signed up to drive for Uber and DoorDash. "Honey, don't worry," he told me. "I won't let us go hungry." So, my daily view became his back as he left at dawn and his exhausted return late at night. He faced the risk of infection and dealt with all kinds of difficult customers, working over 10 hours a day for just $100 or $200. Heavily pregnant, all I could do was worry and ache for him. The desire to help share the burden became overwhelming. I started frantically searching online for work from home and online side hustles. I tried filling out surveys, which earned less than $2 an hour. I tried online data entry and got scammed out of a $50 membership fee. Just as I was about to give up, a strange number added me on WhatsApp. The profile picture was a professional-looking blonde woman who called herself a financial planner. Her first message read, "Hi Sarah, I see you're also looking for opportunities to increase your income. I have a quantitative trading model developed by a Wall Street team that can help ordinary people achieve financial freedom." My gut screamed scam, but she wasn't pushy. Instead, she added me to a group chat with hundreds of people. The group was buzzing. An administrator called the mentor would post signals at set times like BTC/USD, 5 minutes buy, or ETH/USD, 1 minute sell. Members would then flood the chat with screenshots of their profits, hundreds, even thousands of dollars. "Thanks to the mentor. Dinner is paid for tonight. My goal this month is a new LV bag." The manic energy was incredibly infectious. I watched for 3 days and saw that the mentor's signals had an astonishingly high win rate. The financial planner messaged me privately again, patiently guiding me on how to register and deposit funds on what looked like a legitimate trading website. "You don't need much for your first time," she said. "Try $500. You'll thank me." I hesitated. I brought it up cautiously with David, and he was immediately alarmed. "Sarah, that sounds like a scam. Don't touch it. I'll handle the money." His disapproval, however, only fueled my defiance. I felt he didn't understand. He couldn't grasp my desperate need to contribute. So I told my first lie. I secretly transferred $500 from our joint savings account to the platform. That account held the money David had earned, delivery by delivery. Just this once, I told myself, I'll win, put the money back, and he'll never know. I can still remember my heart pounding as I placed the first trade. When the countdown on the screen ended and a green plus $85 flashed, an unprecedented rush of excitement and accomplishment washed over me. It was more than I made in a day at my job. That night, I followed the mentor's signals 5 times and won 4. My account balance grew to $820. I couldn't sleep. My brain was flooded with dopamine. I felt like I had discovered a secret shortcut to wealth. I started hiding it from David, diving headfirst into this money game as soon as he left for work. In the first month, I turned that $500 into nearly $3,000. I quietly transferred the money back to our account, my heart swelling with a secret pride as I watched the balance grow. I even fantasized that we could soon pay off the mortgage, and David wouldn't have to work so hard anymore. I was completely brainwashed. Gambling, with its initial sweetness, had paved a heavenly staircase for me, leading straight to hell. Once the seed of greed is planted, it grows wildly. The $3,000 profit didn't satisfy me. It made me feel like my initial investment was too small, limiting my talent. I grew bolder, throwing in our emergency fund of about $10,000. My new goal was to make $10,000 in 1 month. I will never forget that Tuesday in July 2020. That day, the mentor announced in the group that there was insider news of a huge market move and told everyone to get your ammunition ready. My blood was pumping. I bet everything in my account, plus $5,000 I had just taken as a cash advance from my credit card. Then, the familiar green profit numbers didn't appear. Instead, the screen was a blinding, angry red. My heart sank. The group exploded. People were wailing, questioning the mentor. The mentor explained it was an unexpected market fluctuation and promised to lead everyone to win it all back, doubled, on the next trade. This is the gambler's deadliest psychological trap, the refusal to accept a loss. I lost all reason. I poured in what little money I had left, along with high-interest payday loans I had just applied for, throwing one sum after another into the fire, trying to claw my way back. I was like a drowning person, frantically grabbing at any straw, only to sink faster. A few hours later, when my account balance read 12 cents, I collapsed into my chair, my body ice cold. I had lost all our savings and was now $25,000 in debt from payday loans. A total of $50,000, gone in a single day. That night, David came home humming, holding a pint of my favorite ice cream. The sight of his smile broke me. I collapsed, sobbing, and confessed everything kneeling before him. I had braced myself for his fury, for his yelling, even for him asking for a divorce. But he did none of that. He was shocked, his face went pale, but he just held my trembling body for a long, long time. Then he said, "Sarah, we can always earn the money back. As long as you're okay. We're a family. We'll face this together." To pay off those high-interest loans, he went to his parents the next day. He didn't tell them I had been gambling. He lied and said a business investment had gone south, and we needed the money urgently. His parents were simple, retired workers. They gave him their life savings, $30,000. As his mother handed it over, she asked with worry in her eyes, "David, are you two really going to be okay?" David didn't tell me these details when he got home. He just showed me the screenshot confirming the loans were paid off, and then deleted all the related apps from my phone. He held me and said, "It's over. Forget about it. Let's just get ready for the baby." His kindness and forgiveness should have been my salvation. Tragically, they became my free pass to fall again. Because I was forgiven so easily, I never felt the true, searing pain of my actions. The days after the debt was cleared were eerily calm. David worked twice as hard, and I, consumed by guilt, became completely obedient to him. But that feeling of being wronged, of injustice, was a time bomb buried deep inside me, its timer ticking away. A month later, someone from that WhatsApp group contacted me from a new number, saying the mentor was back and ready to lead everyone to win back their previous losses. As if under a spell, I clicked the link. Seeing those familiar profit screenshots, my heart began to itch again. I found the perfect excuse for myself. I won't be greedy this time. I'll just win back the $50,000 I lost, and then I'll stop for good. I'll only win $20 a day. Just $20. The plan sounded so safe, so restrained. I used a new credit card and dived back in with $10,000. For the first 2 months, I was disciplined, stopping immediately after making a $20 profit each day. I even made a spreadsheet to track my performance. Watching myself get closer to the goal of breaking even, I once again felt like a genius, a master of risk management. Then, the devil took over my mind again. $20 a day is too slow. How long will that take? Wouldn't $200 a day be faster? I tore up my own rules and increased the stakes. The ending was predictably the same. After smugly winning nearly $5,000, one tilted session wiped me out, principal and profit, in less than 10 minutes. This time I didn't cry. All I felt was a profound, violent rage and self-loathing. I slapped myself hard, banged my head against the wall. Only physical pain could slightly ease the torment in my soul. I started smoking secretly, the harsh nicotine my only sedative, completely disregarding the health of the baby in my womb. My personality became twisted. I was a powder keg, ready to explode over the smallest thing. If David came home from work and went to pet the cat before washing his hands, I would scream and roar at him, blaming all my financial losses on him not working hard enough and putting too much pressure on me. He would look at me bewildered and silently endure it all. The more he tolerated it, the more arrogant the demon inside me grew. After tricking friends and family again and taking out more loans, I lost another $70,000. I was at the end of my rope and decided to orchestrate a more dramatic confession. That day, I deliberately started a huge fight with him in the kitchen, then ran to the balcony, swung one leg over the railing, and screamed, "I don't want to live anymore." David was terrified. He rushed over, grabbed me, and begged me on his knees. At his most vulnerable and terrified moment, I casually revealed that I had been gambling again and was now in massive debt. His entire focus was on saving my life. He was in no state to think or to blame. A gambler knows exactly how to manipulate others using their love and fear. This time, David had to confess to his parents again, telling them our business had failed once more. Those kind, elderly people gave him the last of their savings, selling some of their collectibles to scrape together enough money to pay my debts again. When they came to see me, the disappointment and worry in their eyes felt like needles stabbing my heart, but I quickly pushed that flicker of guilt away. I even had the absurd thought, "See, there's always a way out. I can always get through it." The baby was born. He was adorable, with clear eyes just like David. But I plunged into severe postpartum depression. The baby's crying, the endless diaper changes, the severe lack of sleep, it all made me feel incredibly agitated and suffocated. I felt trapped, stripped of my freedom and my identity. David suggested his parents come help, but I stubbornly refused. I claimed I didn't like their unscientific parenting methods, but the truth was I was afraid they would see the darkness inside me. I turned myself and my son into an isolated island. On that island, the only thing that made me feel alive was gambling. This time, I actively sought out new platforms online. Like a seasoned addict, I registered, deposited, and placed bets in one smooth motion. Gambling became my sanctuary, my only escape from reality. When I was in the heat of a bet, I couldn't hear my baby's cries or feel my own exhaustion. My behavior became monstrous. If the baby was screaming from hunger while I was on a losing streak, I would shut him in the bedroom and close the door. If I was winning and in a good mood, I might remember to make him a bottle. His tiny body became a barometer for my emotions. I was like a cold-blooded parasite, feeding on the lifeblood of this family, while offering none of a mother's warmth in return. Often, the baby had to wait for David to come home from work to get a full meal and a clean diaper. David quickly noticed something was wrong, but he was afraid to confront me. Terrified of triggering another episode, he tried to awaken me with even more gentleness. He would come home early, insist on doing all the chores, and hold me when I had an outburst, telling me, "Everything is going to be okay." But I was already too far gone. I concocted even more outrageous lies. I told my parents that David's father was diagnosed with a serious illness and needed money for surgery. I told my in-laws that my brother had been in a car accident and needed cash urgently. My lies grew bolder because I knew they loved me and loved our family. At the same time, because of my good repayment history, my credit limit had become very high. I could easily get cash advances of over $100,000 from several credit cards. Finally, the avalanche came. This time, the hole was $180,000. When I couldn't make the first loan payment, the collection calls came like a flood, hitting every single person in my contacts. My parents, David's parents, our friends, everyone knew the truth. My world collapsed that day. I couldn't face anyone. I left a long suicide note filled with apologies to everyone, took the baby, and just drove, fleeing with no destination. I checked into a cheap motel, ready to end this ridiculous life. It was the sound of police sirens that pulled me back to reality. David had called the police, and they found me by tracking my phone's location. As the police burst through the door, followed by David, his eyes bloodshot, looking like he'd aged 10 years overnight, I didn't cry. I was just numb. To fill the massive $180,000 hole, our only option was to sell the house. It was our home, the testament to our love, the cradle where our child was supposed to grow up. I remember David's hand shaking uncontrollably as he signed the papers. As we were moving out, he took one last look at the empty nursery, and tears streamed silently down his face. This was the third time I'd been bailed out, and the price was our home. The family was broken, but at least we were alive. We rented a small apartment. Life, at its absolute worst, seemed to have a sliver of a chance to start over. My in-laws took the baby, and I went back to work. David never mentioned the word gambling again. He was just quieter than before. I thought that after a lesson as painful as losing our home, I would have truly woken up. But I had overestimated my own humanity and underestimated the tenacity of addiction. The final straw came from Instagram. One day, I was scrolling and saw a post from my best friend. She and her husband were standing in front of a beautiful new house. The caption read, "Our second home, a new beginning." They looked so happy in the photo. An intense jealousy, like venom, shot through my heart. My life was supposed to be like hers, maybe even better. But now I had lost everything and was living in a rundown rental. With our meager salaries, was it even possible for us to ever buy a house again? A wicked thought rose from the depths of my heart once more. This isn't fair. I still have a chance to win it all back. As soon as I win back the money for the house, I'll stop. This time I'll be really careful. A gambler's memory is truly only 7 seconds long. All the pain and all the lessons learned became insignificant in the face of those 3 words. This isn't fair. From 2023 to early 2024, I fell into my most frantic, darkest phase. I was no longer gambling to win. I was gambling to pay off debts, digging a bigger hole to fill the last one. I was juggling dozens of payday loan apps, robbing Peter to pay Paul, my days a frantic calculation of which loan was due next. My life became a nightmare, chased by numbers. Finally, when all the lies could no longer hold, and all avenues for borrowing were exhausted, my debt had accumulated to over $120,000.